Hello.
Peter, how you doing?
Not too bad, Sean. How are you?
Good, good.
Excellent.
Here, let me. How is it up there?
Not too bad. A little chilly, but we got some sun, so not too bad.
Awesome,
How are you? Nice
awesome.
and nice and warm.
Yeah, it's pretty warm. I'm in Fort Lauderdale now at our vacation rental down here, so we're kind of fixing it up a bit. So, yeah, it's going good. I got a few more things to do. Got paint on my hands,
Oh, nice.
but it's good. It's all good. Yeah.
Great.
So I'm recording to make it easier. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so I got a
Do
list
you
of
want
questions here.
my boxing stuff in the background there, or is that all
Yeah,
right?
no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Look at that. That has to be Ali.
Yeah, we got some Ali in the background there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And real quick though, I have to say, I don't know why Tuchel's not playing Pulisic more. This is really upsetting for me. As an
Oh yeah.
American,
I'm sure
you
the whole
know,
U.S. is the U.S. soccer fans are all up in arms there for Pulisic sitting on the bench every game.
he has the number 10 jersey for crying out loud. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
playing on the wing. You need to put him behind like Giroud or Abraham or Werner. Let him do his dribble and then pass it to somebody.
yeah. Now it's been confusing this season for sure. It's just I guess since he hasn't lost a game yet, we kind of just have to trust the process. But yeah, there's a lot
Yeah,
not in the right spots for sure.
yeah. Well, at least all this rest. Hopefully, he'll stay even more fit for the time coming up. Cool. All right. So I have some questions here. Let's say, what was your problem before you bought the course? Like, what would you say was some of the tough parts that made you interested in buying it?
So I guess in a nutshell, the reason why I really wanted to do it was to kind of whittle down what I was going to study and what I was going to look at, and to help kind of set up some time frame expectations on, how long should I actually invest, or how much time do I need to invest in studying for this exam. So, if without, I probably would have overstudied and I would have spent a lot. So yeah, like you said that the course is designed for people that are busy. So, I kind of put myself in that category. I did not have a ton of time to do this. I literally went on to the ASQ site on February 5th and saw that was the deadline to sign up for the March testing window. And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. Just like put my application in and pick the earliest date that I could possibly get for the test. So my
Wow.
time was limited, and I just kind of wanted to get it done. So knowing what to study was a big bonus for sure. And I guess the fact that your programs build as a proven method that you've shown that it works because you got a whole bunch of certifications yourself. So I wanted to trust that, okay, if I follow this, I'm gonna invest the right amount of time. I'm not gonna sell myself short, and it kind of enabled me just to look at the right stuff, right time, and not overstudy.
Awesome, awesome. So if you booked it so late, would you have signed up if you didn't have this course? Like, would you
If I
have
have more
gone
time,
for it? Like, yeah, no. If you like, you're in that situation. Like, would you have? You're like going to sign up like the day of the test. Like, if you didn't have like a path forward, like that said, okay, 3 days and you could pass the test. Like, would you have gone for it?
if I had only 3 days.
No, no. If would you have signed up for the test on February 5th? I think you said it was February
Yeah.
5th. If you didn't know about the course
Oh
and you
yeah,
had
yeah.
to like go get the books and you know that.
Yeah, to be honest, that was in the back of my mind when I signed up, knowing that it felt like a safety net, right? So I was like, okay, I have this. I know, if I do this thing, I'm gonna know the right stuff and scope to study. So yeah, that was in my mind when I signed up.
Okay. And for the record, could you tell everybody which certification you got?
It was the Six Sigma Black Belt, CSSBB.
That's awesome. Yeah, because that's one of the hardest ones I think, it has a mix of everything, information, calculations, statistics. It's definitely one of the toughest. Did anything stop you from buying the course earlier?
Nothing in particular that I can think of. Like I definitely, working for the business that I'm in, and the benefits that the certification will hopefully provide to the business. I was, very interested in kind of getting them on board and, to help finance the whole operation. So, that to make sure that I was going to get the right kind of inputs from the business was part of the I guess the gate to get through, to make sure that I had to before I signed up for everything. So they helped me with the exam fees and the training and the whole package.
Awesome. Do you think that the course would have been worth it even if the company wasn't paying for it?
So I think your guarantee there of if you fail, you will pay for the retest. I think that is the value that or not the value, but definitely. But if you had to pay for it on your own, that would make me comfortable to then say, okay, you know what? At least if I pay for this, I'm not going to pay for the retake if something does go wrong. So on my own money, and, actually I wasn't sure if I was going to get the training funded. I was sure that I would get the certification, exam fee funded. But I was definitely thinking about, okay, if I don't get it funded, I'll still do it because of that safety net feature of the guarantee.
Yeah. And we haven't had to use it to date, actually.
That's good. Not issuing too many warranty claims, I guess.
Well, just like how everybody does their warranties, you look at it, you come up with an expected amount of, people that would need to do it. But I realized that nobody was like, why not offer it? If I believe in the course that much and I've seen it work, why not do it? And then I started realizing that one thing it does help with very, very big is the test anxiety, that can be there. So it's like, oh man, this is like my one and only chance. If I don't do it, that's it. So I'm hoping that that's what is helping people in the exam as well. It's just get just a little calmer, trust the process, stick with the process, don't abandon it in mid-test, if you get a little nervous.
Yeah.
So
no, that was a big feature for me too, the kind of de-stressing the whole situation. Like that builds on what I was saying about the knowing what to study. Like for me, the studying part was actually the more stressful part. Like once I get into the exam, I'm usually fine, but the just kind of figuring out what to study and how much to study and all that kind of stuff, like leading up to the exam, that's all the stress for me, the pre-test anxiety type stuff. So I think this helped a lot with de-stressing the whole thing.
Good. Awesome. So what would you say you liked the most about it?
I think the format for the delivery of all the material, the video is like, it's friendly. It's it helps to build some confidence. It feels like, since I know you, it feels like you're actually talking to me, and it's like, hey, we're working through this together kind of thing. I think the personal touch is good there.
Okay, awesome. And let's say you're talking to somebody, or maybe a colleague at work, and they're on the fence as to whether or not they should get the course, but they're thinking about getting their ASQ certification. What would you say to them to recommend the course?
Well, I would definitely let them know that, the benefit that it provided me as far as, what to study. I have to go read, 100 different books, and, prepares you to have the ammunition during the actual exam, the open book, what to bring in, how to set up your stuff, the most optimal way with all the tabs and the references. So I would let them know, that's probably the best way to, absorb all that information quickly. The actual training is not long, right? I don't know how long the actual, video is to watch, but you can watch it pretty quickly.
It's about like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
You get through it pretty quickly. It's not like a massive time commitment, and it's just, concise and precise what you're trying to achieve there of setting up your materials. And so, I would definitely recommend it too. There's a few people here that are, kind of considering it as well. So we can test that.
Oh, okay. There you go. Awesome. So did you do it all in 3 days, like the 3 8-hour days, or did you do it shorter? Did it take you longer? What was sort of your experience with
Yeah,
the
so
course?
basically I took the 3 8-hour days and considered that to be the amount of time I had to put in. So I got 24 hours of studying pretty much. So I had to break it down into some shorter bits and pieces sometimes. Like I think I did about 6 separate sittings where I'd sit down and, start going through the sections and through the book. But I just made sure I put in my 24 hours. So that way I would, follow the system, trust the process, and don't sell myself short there. So I didn't do it exactly 3 8-hour days.
Did you feel like you needed to, I guess, at what point in the time period would you say that you felt comfortable enough to go into the text?
To be honest, I would say it took just about the full amount of time. So the 24 hours of study, it took me until pretty much the end of that to really feel comfortable going into the test.
Yeah, very good.
Especially because in my field, the first chunk of the book is kind of what I talk about. It's my language, everyday stuff. The second chunk, more statistical stuff, that was kind of the scary stuff for me because I don't use it on a day-to-day basis. I have to go back, at least 10 years to school when I was doing that stuff. So it's been a while. But it does come back once you start reading it all. It does come back, but it took some extra time just to gather my confidence around that, and running through some of the examples and formulas and trying to make sure I could still use all the formulas.
Yeah, don't feel bad. We use them all the time, and I still go back and reference it. Nobody memorizes that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. That was an important factor for me, that the fact that you mentioned that, this is not necessarily a shortcut, and that you're still, providing value to the industry by, getting the certification through this route, because, the reality is you always will have those references, and actually, training to know and practicing to know where to look for those things is probably more practically valued in the industry than just to memorize it all.
Yep. I actually just referenced my CQE book the other day. I was looking for doing reliability in parallel versus in series, and how you add up the probabilities.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and I was like, I knew exactly where to go and do it. Yeah. So
actually, I was thinking
that's good.
I was thinking about getting, or kind of handing down my book after I did all the referencing and stuff. I was thinking about, I'll give this to the next guy who's asking about, on my site if they want to take it. But now that I've done all this referencing, I'm thinking, you know what? I want to keep this thing and be able to refer back to it. There's so many good single point lessons in there, and I'm going to keep it. I'll be selfish.
Yeah, no, and actually it's for the best, because that process of creating, of maximizing that primer, is actually what helps you to give a structure to the knowledge and continue to retain it and make it more efficient. It's kind of like everybody can clean and keep a facility very clean, but it's when you put it in the structure of like a 5S methodology, then all of a sudden it's easier to do it because you know where each stage where you should be at. And as you go forward and you learn different things, you fit it into that bucket. And one thing you'll find as you go through is that same thing will happen. Like you've now have like a format with which as you gain more information, more statistics, more whatever it is, you just get to slot it right to, oh, that's what that was. Oh, that's it. Even now, I've had my certifications for 7 years. I'm still like, I finally understand that. It's been 7 years I have the certification, but it definitely helps. And that, like you said, it's not a shortcut. You're learning it. You're learning it as you go, and you're creating a structure, which is most important, so that when you forget, because you will forget, some of these things, you will have a system to find it. Yeah.
It's like the drawer of tools for your technician, and they're all just scattered and mixed in there, and then you get them to make the shadow board for it. And just the process of making the shadow board, they're learning, okay, I have all these tools. I got, duplicates of these, and I haven't seen this tool in a year. And so you organize your stuff, and it becomes so much easier to use after that.
Yes, yes.
Finals,
That I'm going to use that.
yeah, there you go.
What else surprised you, I guess, about taking the course? Was there anything else that surprised you that you weren't expecting when you first bought it?
I think if I hadn't spoken to you in the past about this, because I think I talked to you about the certification maybe like 2 years ago. And this was, I think, before the course existed. And you kind of gave me a heads up on like what materials to look at and what, which ones to focus on, which obviously the primer is kind of the primary thing there. Definitely the primary thing. If I hadn't have talked to you about that, that would have been the surprise. I would have been like, oh, I don't know all these other books
Good
and
point.
other resources and stuff, but I kind of already knew that going in.
I have to remember that too, because the last one I took was Supplier Quality Professional. After I had to wait a couple of years because I actually was on the board for writing that exam.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, you write it and then you have to wait, But I understand. I was so set in my ways with this method by then. This is my fourth one. I didn't even consider the fact that most people would go buy other books, and maybe multiple books. And these books are not cheap. They're pretty expensive, on top of getting another 12-week course or, one of these different things. Yeah. So that's interesting.
And that's probably another good point to make, that like just the process of getting the certification is like, it's pretty, you can read it all on the ASQ site and understand it, but, prior to recently, it was kind of just mysterious to me and it was a little bit foggy. And I've heard about other forms of the certification from different organizations and, training courses that like you said, you can pay thousands of dollars and do like weeks of classroom training and all that kind of stuff. So if you I'm thinking from the perspective of the other folks that are at my site that probably have not gotten as much exposure to it as I previously had, and done the research to kind of figure out what it all is and what to do, that doing the course before all that would be pretty helpful for them just to understand this is the scope. It really just focuses the scope, narrows the scope, and kind of clears up some of those mysteries that you don't need necessarily like weeks of classroom training and different courses and that kind of stuff.
So let me ask you this. Did you look at any other types of prep courses out there?
Not specifically for like this recent event. I kind of had a game plan in my mind with, with your course and, sign up, do that, get it done kind of thing. But in the past I had looked at, different organizations that were doing, the online training or, different things that you can do, classroom training, but I never really kind of went down the road of executing any of those.
What would you say made the difference as to why? Because it sounded like you were pretty set on taking, our course. So what would you say was the thing that made you, okay, no, I'm going to take this course. I'm not going to look at these other things, other options that are out here? Time
commitment for one, for sure. I think that's important. And then same kind of theme that I've been saying, just the scope and the, kind of precision of what you need to look at in order to pass this exam. That was the helpful thing for me. And I just, trusted it that, based on the results that you've personally had, obviously, that I knew it was going to work.
Awesome. What do you think I could do better to better promote the course, or what things about the course do you think would appeal to more people, that are out there and make them interested in taking the course?
I heard about this through LinkedIn. So that's kind of where my information came in. And I guess, there's some synergies there that are building between your team or your organization and ASQ. I've seen your name on their site there on one of them, I guess. And then also, the primer, the Quality Council of Indiana. So it seems like you're doing them a bit of a service to get more people, to get more customers.
They need to send me a check.
If we could get that reciprocated from them, maybe.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you could funnel in a few more customers that way.
Yeah, very good, very good. Any last thoughts about the Holy Spirit? Let me ask you this: what are you gonna do what's your plans now? You know, is it to grow in your career? What were you mainly taking the course for?
Yeah, so I'm like in a managerial role, so I'm the operations manager here now. So I wasn't taking it to try to do more, I guess, specific Six Sigma type projects. I'm definitely involved with
Hmm.
Six Sigma projects, but like just the overall body of knowledge and the material for me is something that a lot of leaders and people in my types of roles and position can benefit from. Just to keep referencing back to that type of those methodologies, the process management, just the different techniques. I think it's, just part of my day-to-day language. So just kind of putting a stamp on that, I think raises that awareness in my organization that that's who I am. And I think people, respect that certification. It's pretty highly looked at in the industry. So that's kind of my objective there, not necessarily looking for, a career change, just kind of solidifying what I do and how I think.
And that's very interesting that you say that because I've saw quite a few posts recently, and honestly, it's been my thought that for people who are not trying to grow and climb the corporate ladder, like it could be the progression of their career, but it's not the main reason they're going after the ASQ cert. That you're doing it for the learning aspect of it, and to be able to apply and add to your portfolios or your credentials there. That's a very interesting one. I think that is underestimated as a benefit of ASQ cert. Yes, it does look good on resumes and things of that nature, but you still do learn a lot. You learn a lot of things, and it's organized learning.
For sure.
Yeah, I would say, because there's always like two parties out there. There's the, I love ASQ certs and then party, and then there's the only experience. Experience is all that matters, so on and so forth. And I like the combination of the two because experience gets you the real world judgment calls, things of those nature, like when to use different items. I like the ASQ certs to standardize your knowledge so that you're not 25 years in a company doing it wrong, and that happens. People will say, oh, we've been doing it for 25 years, and that's just, what it is. So, yeah.
The combination
very
is
good.
Really important. Absolutely. You gotta, and you learn new things while you do it too, right? And other perspectives, and gets you plugged in and talking to other people that you don't talk to every day. And so, yeah, it's important stuff.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we're about to run out of time here. Thanks for jumping on and doing this. Definitely appreciate it. All right.
Hopefully this
take care.
Hopefully this pandemic thing will clear up sooner or later, and we can get you back up here sometime and see what we're doing and what we're up to these days.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Maybe get you guys going on those video work instructions in the standard work area.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah.
Done. So
good. Awesome.
Hey, nice talking to you.
So, same. Go Blues.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yep. Bye.
Cheers.